Good morning. My name is Julia Wanjiku. It's time for us to get to the big conversation. And this morning we are talking about, we are exploring the world of games and how they can be used for edutainment. Edutainment games help improve children's skills in memory, concentration and development of knowledge. And so we are speaking to the community manager Usiku Games, Maria Nkumba, who will explain to us why games are such an important part of the new tools in education, and also tell us how Usiku Games adapted that in helping children get a platform to have such games. Welcome to the show, Maria.
Thank you so much.
Let's start with why games, or the gaming industry, the importance of games in any person's life.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I would say we always take gaming as fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even if you introduce gaming to children, it will not feel like they're learning. It will feel like they're playing. So hence why gaming is so important, especially in the new age children right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean, they're completely different from how we grew up.
Yes.
So once we introduce gaming, then it makes learning so much more fun and so much easier for them.
But there are people who argue, Maria, that if you're having fun, you're not learning.
Yes, I know, and that's how I think we grew up.
Yes.
With the 844 system. It was all about books. But now think about it. Our children are literally digital natives. You know, they've been swiping and tapping since they were toddlers. So once you introduce something like gaming, this is literally their world. This is what they know. But why don't we transform that gaming into edutainment? So as long as they're still playing, they're still learning at the same time.
Okay.
So hence why I think we are definitely living in different times, for sure.
So when you talk about gaming, what kind of games are this? Because you said they're digital natives, right?
Yes.
So what kind of games are we talking about?
So we are talking about social impactful games. Yeah. So we have what we call like the casual games. We have bespoke games, which are literally custom made for a specific purpose, for education, for social good, for climate change. So those are the kind of games we're talking about. And currently with the new CBC curriculum, which has been introduced by the KICD, we know that they are so big on critical thinking right now, and improving that, introducing that to our children in the public schools. Yeah.
All right.
So we have different kind of games. I think I'll talk more about them as we go on.
Yes.
And just break them down.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, before we come to that, it was fascinating for me to read that, games can be improved can be used to improve skills.
Yes.
How is this possible? In what way?
I can tell you, for instance, I've really been playing these games with my daughter. She's 7 years, So when I introduced them to her, she was like, what games are these? But when we started playing, I could tell like the level of concentration that she needs to be able to earn those points and to be cheered on and to see she scored and she's moved to another level. It improves it improves her concentration so much because she really needs to be keen on what she's playing. Yeah, so
when we were growing up, but like you said, things are very different today.
Yes.
Our kind of games were outdoor games. We
True.
played outside.
That's true.
But this is gaming in the house.
Yeah.
So we're still keeping them in the house, not getting them out there.
Yes. I think it's a balance of both. Let me call it that. It is when you think about it, because you still allow your children to go and maybe ride their bikes or play with their neighbors. But when it's time to learn, why don't they sit and play this game instead of just watching cartoons or YouTube or being in other platforms? So that's a culture we are trying to build, that even as you tell your child sit and read or sit and study, you're giving them a platform that they'll still enjoy at the end of the day. So that's the difference.
Let's come to the breaking down of these different types of these games.
Okay, so we have launched a new platform for children. It's called the TIZI games, and these are purely edutainment games for children. So as I said, they are in line with the CBC curriculum, so they'll help improve the children's skills in maths, sciences, and languages. So when you go to our platform, you'll see all these different kinds of games. Like for instance, in math, you'll find something like Kuhesabu Bano. We knew Bano.
Yeah, we grew up with Bano.
Grew up with Banos, but you play them outside.
Yes.
On the soil. And those are the fun times,
Yes.
But now let's have the Banos on our mobile phones, you know. But are they just counting banos? But they are also learning math. It's an addition, it's subtraction, it's multiplication.
Right.
So so you'll find that in math, you'll find vocabularies in the English, you'll find spot the differences, for instance, in art. So once you go to our site, you'll be able to interact with all these games. And also to mention that our games they're custom made for each grade level.
Oh.
Yes. So for instance, if you're in grade 1, whatever you'll be learning this week in school, those are the kind of games you'll be given for the week. So our gaming is in line with the CBC curriculum.
Right.
Yes.
So this is like extracurricular activities, or is it part of the curriculum?
I would say it's part of the curriculum. It helps you practice what you've already learned in class for the whole week.
Okay.
So our games will just help you understand if it's a concept or whatever topic you've learned in class. That's why it's called TIZI. TIZI means practicing.
Yes.
So it just helps you practice a little bit more at home for the rest of the week. And each week you're able to have a different set of games. So it's not monotonous for you as a child. So every week you're looking for different games.
Right.
Every week you're looking to play, to check what have they loaded on, you know, what are we learning this week. So it's exciting and it's fun.
So this requires that the parents have a mobile phone, a smartphone.
Yes.
To be precise.
Yes.
Is that not limiting?
I wouldn't say it's limiting currently, because think about it, like there have been such a huge uptick in the digital space. And the mobile phones also, when you think about it, they've also become quite reasonable.
Yes.
And easily affordable. So a huge percentage of parents right now at least have a smartphone, you know, so they're able to give this child their phone, and you'll be sure that they're in a safe site, in a safe platform where they're learning as they play.
Okay.
Yes.
So what do your game developers look into as they develop the different games? Like, they must keep in touch with the CBC curriculum to know what the students are learning every week, right?
Yes. So as I said, our developers, first and foremost, are local developers. So we are also creating new jobs and employment, and also giving our developers and our creatives an opportunity to do something that's local and Kenyan. So you'll also find a lot of our children, we give them international games, you know, because we've not really necessarily had local games over the years. So yes, we have to be cognitive on the CBC curriculum. We have to be in line with what KICD are doing, and to definitely follow this curriculum each week, so that we know the kind of content we'll keep churning out for the children. Yes.
I'm just thinking about a child maybe in far-flung areas like Pokot, northeastern Kenya, because you launched this last week.
Yes.
Two things. First, what's been the reception so far?
So far, it's honestly been very exciting. The people I've spoken to, the people who've tried, we've sensitized to, and I think there's this excitement. First of all, the fact that it's local, it's Kenyan, supporting our own and giving our children games that look like them. When you think about it, most of the international games, it's Mzungu children.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So right now, you have games that are African. The characters are African, so they're able to connect with the children are able to connect with these games, and also to see something that, quote unquote, they look like, you know, building their confidence as well. Yes, we just launched locally last week, sorry.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, the areas like Pokot or Samburu, it might take time for us to get there, but with the evolution of everything changing over time, we know we'll also be able to reach them.
So currently this is in Nairobi or in other parts of the country as well?
No. You can, as long as you have internet connectivity, you can connect from whichever part of the country you're in, as long as you have a smartphone. Yes.
So this is an app?
Yes. It's a mobile based app, and you just Google it. You go to tizi.games, then it will give you the first page. It tells you to sign up for trial. Then you pay a very small fee. It's very affordable. Every parent can afford it. We literally charge 10 shillings per week for 5 games. When you think about it, that's 40 shillings in a month. Yeah. So when
for 8 games.
For 8
no, for 20.
For 20 games.
For 20 games. Yes.
So when you think about it, I mean, that's a cost that it's much less than what a lot of us are paying for the other international games. So it's extremely affordable, and it's local, and it's Kenyan.
And it's safe content.
And
I mean, parents can leave their children with a phone and...
Exactly. You log on with your details. It's a safe platform. Yes.
If you're just joining us on the big conversation this morning, we are exploring the world of games and how they can be used for edutainment. And my guest this morning is Community Manager Usiku Games, Nkumba, who is explaining to us why games are such an important part of new tools in education, and also telling us how Usiku Games has adapted that into helping children get a platform to have such games. If you'd like to be part of this conversation, you are most welcome to do so. Post your questions and comments or observations, concerns on our Facebook fan page, KBC English Service, on Twitter at KBC English, and you can also send us an SMS on 20154. Start that SMS with the word English. We're taking a short break. We will be back right after this. We are getting to the second part of the big conversation this morning, where we are talking and actually exploring the importance of gaming and edutainment for children, because edutainment helps children improve their skills in memory, concentration, and development of knowledge. And we're speaking to the community manager, Usiku Games, Nkumba, who's explaining to us why games is an important part of the new tools in education, and also telling us how Usiku Games adopted that in helping children get a platform to have such games. I was just reading an article earlier in one of the dailies talking about that you are targeting 8 million primary school pupils in Kenya.
Yes, that is our target, and we know for sure that we'll be able to reach all these people. As I said, especially after post-pandemic, we've really had it rough as parents, and I'm sure you can all attest to that.
Yes.
Having to stay with our children at home for 10 months, figure out how do we engage them? How do we keep them entertained? Will they just stay out and play the whole day? Are they even going out anyway because of COVID? Or when they're staying in the house, what do they be doing? But we are giving you a solution as a mother and as a parent to keep these children engaged in a more in an edutainment platform, so they're not just playing for fun, but they're playing and learning at the same time. So we really believe that we'll be able to reach all these children. Yes,
I understand that the games also build hand-eye coordination, spatial awareness, and fast reflexes. Break this down for us.
Yes. As we were chatting earlier, and I was telling you, my daughter, like for instance, I was playing with her an art game. It's called Spot the Difference. So you have like a picture where you have to spot like 7 differences. And even at some point she told me, "Mom, why can they be 5 differences? Why does it have to be 7?" Because she can't even be able to see the others.
Yes.
And so that's what you're talking about. So when you say hand-eye coordination, you really have to focus. Yes, they're supposed to be easy, but they're also supposed to be challenging and fun. So challenge your mind, challenge your eyes, challenge your hands, play that game, learn what is supposed to do. So that's what we are talking about. So they really improve those skills in a child.
Interestingly, there's a message here from Hannah, which reminds me of something you and I were chatting about during break. She's asking, 10 shillings, Julia, what's the catch? And I asked you the same thing. What's the catch?
There is honestly no catch, Julia. We just want it to be affordable for every child to be able to experience something local. It doesn't have to be expensive for us to be able to to connect with or to give it to our children. Let it be affordable, and that's our purpose, and that's why we say our gaming are supposed to be for social good and to create a social impact. So that's why we've made it extremely affordable.
So for someone who's just joining us, say the cost again, and they're wondering, 10 shillings for what?
Yes, so it's 10 shillings per week for 5 different games. Then each week you get 5 other games. So every week, if you and also you can choose to pay weekly, you can choose to pay monthly, you can choose to pay yearly, so that you don't have to keep thinking about it every week. But you know that your child is connected and they're able to access TIZI games.
Incidentally, if I wanted to pay more, can I get more games? Or is standardized at 10 shillings per week for 5 games?
Yes, it's standardized so that it's also impactful, you know. And remember also we are following the CBC curriculum.
Yes.
So we have to give what they are learning per week. Yes.
So someone may be listening and wondering, what's all this for? But I read that UNESCO has indicated that the use of games for teaching mathematics, sciences, and the humanities is becoming a core part of the educational landscape. This is the space where we are at now.
This is literally the space you are at now, for sure. And I think I also mentioned this earlier. Our children have become digital natives. So it's important for us to deliver content in a format that is comfortable for them, and hence that fits their brain's way of thinking. You know, if they're used to tablets and phones, why don't we then give them content that they already know and they're able to, you know, to connect with. So yes, this is definitely our future.
Are you able to determine or maybe like assess and evaluate the learning of students through this?
Yes, I think over time, especially through testimonials and based on what the parents will come back and tell us about it, then we are able to definitely do our assessment. And also even for ourselves, for us who have children, we are able to see the change that it's making in our children's, you know, way of thinking, their memory skills, you know, their knowledge, how is it impacting them. So yes, over time we are definitely able to assess the impact.
How did you identify this gap?
We definitely identified this gap from the fact that the world is moving the digital space. Our children are of course the ones who will now be living in even a more digital era more than us when you think about it. So they need to be immersed into this space from an early age, so that by the time they're growing and by the time they're becoming adults, they already know how to live in this digital world and how to survive in it and how to thrive in it as children. And we know, especially for kids, they learn by doing. So if you give them something that they'll be doing and not just sitting and having to write and write and read, you know, it becomes one time they get bored and they some of them even hate it, you know, to some extent.
Right.
But if you give them something that is more practical, you know, then it will be much more powerful for them. So yes.
What do you think are some of the challenges that would make the children not be able to access this very important learning tool?
Honestly, the main challenge would be if, for instance, the parents are not maybe connected or they don't have a mobile phone. Then that will definitely cause a challenge. They only need to pay 10 shillings, you know, and you can pay by any means. It can be by M-Pesa, with a credit card, but the main challenge would definitely be mobile connectivity. Yes, that's what we can see as a main challenge for now.
Are you looking towards working, or are you working with partners maybe to make sure that the reach is even wider?
Yes, since we literally just launched, so right now we are still in the awareness stage and conversion stage. So yes, we are exploring, working with different partners so that we ensure that the reach is definitely wider. So.
Would you say that the COVID-19, the close down of schools for 9 months played a role maybe in you coming up with this app? Because
yes,
like we said earlier, we grew up with outdoor games.
Yes. This
time round we were shut in for 9 months. So how did that play into the development of this app?
It definitely came from a point of wanting to create a difference in the world, you know, and also building something that's Kenyan, something that's local for our children and for Africa as well, you know. So it was important for us to be able to give our children much more important content and not just having to sit and do nothing, you know, or to sit and watch cartoons, which are necessarily, they don't, okay, yes, they're entertaining, but then after that, then what? Let them play, let them learn at the same time. And that's what that's what made us create this new platform. And also we know in the Western world, this is something that has been there for many years, edutainment games. Why don't we now? It's time. It's time for Africa, So that's what informed our new development with TIZI Games.
CBC is big on identifying talent. Can one tell the talent of a child by just observing the kind of games they are interested in?
Oh yes, I can tell you that from a mother's point of view. My child is a creative. So even from the time that she started interacting with the games, you have your math, your sciences, and your arts. She's really leaning towards the art side. So every time she'll tell me, no, I just want, let's go to the art. Let's see what other games are there. So I can already tell, like, that's what she's connecting with, because that's what that's her talent. She loves anything creative, anything artsy, anything musical. Also, our games are very colorful and they have music. So they're entertaining at the same time. So yes, you can definitely tell your child's strengths from our games. Yes.
So, like, clarify this for us, because you said you get 5 games a week,
yes,
in line with the CBC curriculum.
Yes.
So it's not a selection that the child picks that today I want to play this game over that game.
No, they can't select, because remember, we have your math, your sciences, and your arts. So under those 3 categories, you can pick any game that you want. Okay, so you can go to the math, to the, for instance, languages, their vocabularies. Maybe today they want to do vocabularies and try it out. Then you have your sciences. Maybe they want to be able to, to learn the balances. So they're able to go and pick the different subjects that they're interested in each time.
So how many levels does one game have? Like, if I score points here and I'm told I can proceed to the next level, is it still within the same game, or do I have to wait until next week?
No. The games have different levels. So you'll find even some games have 10 levels. So once you finish one level, and you cannot proceed to the next level before you are able to complete the first level. Okay, so some games have 10 levels, others have 5 levels. So you can keep doing them over and over again.
Yeah. How long is a game? Like give or take, how long would it take?
Ooh, to be honest, it really depends on the child, because if you're able to really pick whatever it is, or the whole thing you're saying, the hand-eye coordination,
yes,
the concentration, so it can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It really depends on the child's level of
coordination and concentration.
Yes, exactly. All these things play a part.
How do you think games can help simplify the STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics?
Yeah, I think to be honest, when as we said, it looks like you're just playing a game, but you're actually learning at the same time. So it's colorful. It looks like, maybe, like, for instance, in math, there are some games which have like bombs. So they look like they're just coming from the sky, but they actually have the sums, and you're learning at the same time. So once you make it fun and exciting for the children, then they'll actually want to learn, and they'll get it much better, and it will stick to their minds more.
They'll be able to retain
it for a longer time. Yeah.
This is the big conversation on KBC English Service. This morning we are exploring the world of games and how they can be used for edutainment with my guest, Nkumba, who is the Usiku Games Community Manager, explaining to us why games are such an important part of the new tools in education. And we are coming to your questions right after this break. So get those through to us on Facebook, KBC English Service, and on Twitter at KBC English. Hashtag is Breakfast KBC. You can also text us on 20154, beginning with the word English. We are back right after this. Good morning. My name is Julia Wanjiku, and we are coming to the final part of the big conversation this morning. We have been exploring the use of games and gaming in edutainment and how this is an important part of education tools. We are delighted to have in studio Community Manager Usiku Games Nkumba, who is explaining to us why games are such an important part of the new tools in education. We've been asking you to be part of this conversation through our Facebook fan page, KBC English Service. and our Twitter handle at KBC English. The hashtag is Breakfast KBC. You can also text us on 20154 and start with the word English. So, Maria, can we comfortably say that a child who can play games related to math, because we were talking about how games can help in subjects, STEM subjects, can we comfortably say that a child who can play games related to math could end up actually improving their performance in this subject?
Absolutely, for sure. Remember, as we said, giving your child TIZI is like giving them an assistant teacher, because you're giving them that extra support and extra push and extra time to just practice maybe that which they didn't necessarily understand in school. So they'll definitely help improve the child's grades in school. They'll help improve their concentration. They'll help improve their critical thinking. So it will definitely it's definitely what the child needs. After school, what else do they do? Let them come home and play these games. Then they're just not games, they're actually learning at the same time.
Yasin is asking, in your opinion, do educational games not just increase social isolation? Like, I think where this is going is social skills, like, interaction, because you're playing this game basically alone, or maybe with a parent or a guardian.
Yes.
So do they not just increase the already existing isolation?
No, actually, for us, and it's important. That's a very good question, because for TIZI games, you also have an opportunity to also play with someone else. Still on the platform, you can even choose to play with a friend, or to play with a cousin, or to play like in a group. So it gives you that option as well. So I wouldn't say it's encouraging the social. It's decreasing the social interaction. It's just it's they're also playing at a time when they should be reading or revising. So that's their reading time. So it's not necessarily what they'll be doing the full time. They'll also be taking breaks to play, to go outside and play, or to do something different.
All right.
But that's their reading time. Yeah.
Janaldi is asking about the safety of these games. I think she joined us after we talked about the safety. So just kindly go through that again for her.
Yes. So the child plays the games from the parent's phone. It can either be the mother's or the father's phone. And as I mentioned, when you get into a site, you register with your details. And this is a safe platform. So nothing to worry about. You'll not have other pop-ups of bad content popping up on your screens, or even when the child is playing, because we've ensured that the site is safe.
Right.
Yes.
A question here from Christopher. I have discovered that I have noticed that there appears to exist an overall distaste for education or for playing games. What's your take on this? And even as you respond to Christopher,
Yes.
Talk about, tie that with what we were talking about during break. That, parents or guardians first resist such a thing. But we've been giving our children phones to play all manner of games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. I think that has definitely been informed by how we view gaming. We view gaming like, lack of a better word, we are gaming maybe as a competition or to earn gambling, exactly, which then becomes a bad habit, and especially if it's practiced over a period of time, it becomes addictive and not for the right reasons. So our games, as I mentioned, they are for social good. They are to help. They're edutainment games. They're to help your children. Let's not resist as parents. You're already giving your child the phone to watch YouTube, or to listen to music, or to play PlayStation. You're already enabling it. So why don't we do something that's more impactful for our children and that will help them in the long run? Yeah.
The UN proposes games for learning as a highly attractive and immersive way of getting solutions. So where do you see the future of games in the learning process? After we go through this resistance, of course.
Yes, for sure. Gaming is our new age education tool. We have to embrace it. We have to embrace it because then the children feel like they are playing, but they're still learning. So it's more fun for them, but it's still impactful, you know. So they're not bored. It's in their space. This is what they know. This is the world that they're conversant with. Remember, for us when we were children, and you live and remember when we would try and study maths, and we'll be given beans and maize to calculate. You know, think about it that way. You know, you're still being given something to do so that you can understand the concept.
Yes.
But right now we are giving you the app because of the mobile platform, because that's where our children are. You know, so we are literally taking them into the world that they're already conversant with. Yes.
You know what's coming to me as you're speaking is that maybe we are also guilty as parents of trying to force our children to the time where we grew, you know.
Completely guilty.
They can't relate to some of the things that we say. Those days are gone. We need to wake up to that realization.
They are gone. They are gone completely. I honestly remember last year when I was homeschooling my daughter, and you know, that time we had to literally turn to teachers. And at some point I was like, oh my God, how do I make this child understand this math concept? I literally had to draw, you know, the circles, the sticks, you know, to help my child understand this concept. But what if I give her something that she'll be more excited about, something that she can actually connect with? You know, she's always on my phone. But right now I can see the excitement in her face when I give her my phone and tell her, go to TIZI, go and play a game, and I want to hear you being cheered on and being spurred on.
Right.
You know, because also remember, us as humans, we are social beings. We want to be cheered on. We want that positive or negative recognition. When you tell your child or you tell your daughter or your son, you're such a good boy, you're such a clever girl, you know, what does it do to them? It boosts their confidence. They believe that they can actually do it. That's what TIZI does.
Right.
Because as you keep going to the next level, it keeps spurring you on. It keeps motivating you. You know, it keeps boosting your confidence and making you believe you can actually do it. So if I can actually do it here, what makes me believe that I can't do it when I go back to school? Yeah.
So someone has been who has been hearing you say about our platform and TIZI, how can they actually go to TIZI and maybe even download this app?
So you can go to Google, just Google TIZI.games, and it will take you directly to our site. You can reach us, or you can also check us out on Twitter so that you can better understand the platform. It's at TIZI Africa, and on Facebook as well, TIZI Games. And you can also follow us on Usiku Games, which is our main platform, our main company.
Finally, beyond the classroom, Maria, where else are games being used to transform lives?
I honestly believe they are being used, of course, at homes, in the social spaces. You know, even for instance in rehabilitation centers. You know, think about it. You have maybe children who are in rehab centers for one reason or the other. Give them games that will make them, you know, sort of get back to themselves and feel like, you know, there's someone who's actually cheering them on, or there's something that they can actually do besides just sitting and waiting, or sitting and feeling sorry for themselves. And you know, it will help really at the same time, even as they're healing, for instance, boost their confidence, their concentration, their knowledge, you know. So I feel like gaming can be used in literally different areas of our lives.
Thank you very much, Maria, for your time on The Big Conversation. It's been such a delight hosting you and getting to learn about TIZI.
Thank you for having
my
us.
guest this morning, Maria Nkumba, explaining to us why games are an important part of the new tools in education. She is the community manager, Usiku Games. Remember, a podcast of this conversation will be available on our website, www.kbc.co.ke. And you can also listen again on air during the night runner straight after midnight. It's 4 minutes to 9. Agnes Mongange will have the news at 9. Good morning.